Tanya, and today I have with me a co-host.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Kadisha Gordon Sims. I am a 7th grade social studies teacher. I have experience teaching social studies for 12 years at the high school and middle school level. I've been a department chair at the high school level. I currently hold my master's in organizational leadership, and I'm very passionate about strong instruction. I believe learning should be relevant and rooted in purpose, and I try my best to do that on a daily basis.
Awesome. We're so delighted to have you here with us, and thank you for choosing to come and share your knowledge. I noticed that you said high school and middle school experiences. Mm-hmm. Wow. And even had the experience of being a department chair.
Yes.
So let's unpack that part first. Let's start with being a department chair, where you're basically responsible for, accountable for, in charge of a group of people, ensuring that they provide quality instruction. You said strong instruction. Mm-hmm. I love that terminology. That's my first time hearing strong instruction. Talk to us about that.
Okay. Yes, so I am from Jamaica. I came to the US 2019 to teach world history, and the experience was amazing. At first it started a bit rocky, but as I was able to navigate through COVID, teaching online learning, and then being asked to become the department chair for social studies, it was an exciting journey. Being able to manage other members of staff and to also give my input to see what would have worked well for students was very good for me. Strong instruction to me actually is basically having a rigor in lesson planning, making sure that you are literally focused on the curriculum, and also making sure that everything that you're planning is in alignment with those standards for teaching your students. So that's what I mean by strong instruction. Mm-hmm. Looking at high level strategies that will build engagement for your students and ways in which they will definitely be successful. And that's not just in terms of testing, but just throughout life as a whole person.
Yes. You said something that I'd like to talk about. And with Impact Educators, we talk all the time about, so we have Impact Educators and the Vision Challenge. And so we talk a lot about engagement over entertainment. A lot of people think that, building relevance is, we've got to talk about the newest rapper and that kind of thing, and
Not necessarily.
I know that bothers me, because when we do that, we only expose children to what we think they like, right? There are so many children out there who love so much more than just rap music,
Right.
And so I believe as an educator, it's our job to help them become well-rounded. Mm-hmm. Many of our children are going to get that anyway. Yeah. So what else can we add? So when you talked about rigor, I was like, yes, thank you. The alignment part you talked about, but also that building engagement. We do a lot of work, like I said, engagement over entertainment. The kids are not asking us to stand on stage and give them a show. That's not what they're asking.
Right.
What do you mean by engagement? In what ways do you suggest we engage students? You teach social studies. That's boring. Nobody likes the subject. You know what I mean?
Listen.
Talk to us about that.
Social studies is a multidisciplinary subject, so you can draw from different topics. We're talking about history, political science, economics, government. Yes, it will seem, especially now with our Gen Z and younger folks, that it's boring. Nobody wants to talk about 1960s, 1950s, and way before that time, right?
Yes.
Like, who is Martin Luther versus who is Martin Luther King,
right?
Which is a totally different time period if people didn't know that.
Right.
So, for me, engagement is literally bringing history to life, making it relatable, allowing students to have that real life connection with the topic. I always say, if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it, right?
That's right.
So how can our students in modern day understand what happened in the past, and to build that connection for them to understand what's to build on your future?
Yeah.
So the engagement for me is not about who is the famous rapper, but engaging them in a way in which they are able to want to be involved in learning.
Yes.
So involvement can take different strategies. For me, for social studies, it's inquiry-based learning, where I always start my lesson with a hook. So I'll ask them a question like, because I'm teaching 7th grade social studies now, so I'll ask a geography question like, how do where we live impact how we live? So that's, for them, that's provoking their mind to think about, okay, climate.
Yes.
So if we're living in the Sahara Desert, that's hot. How would we live? What would the way of life be? What are jobs going to look like? What are transportation? How would that look like? So that will also get them to thinking, hey, okay, so living in the Sahara Desert versus living probably in Iceland, that's a totally different lifestyle because of the climate. So they'll understand stuff like that. Apart from inquiry-based learning, I also do making real-life connections and also choice boards. So giving students a choice.
Yes.
That's where they have ownership. And that's where they're using their voice in learning. Not every student will write well, and that's okay. And not every student will be the one who will be so confident to want to speak in front of a class, and that's okay. But I think giving students the choice also appeals to the learning styles of my students. And then for them to create that end product that shows me this is what I've learned in this way, and I can produce that end product to show you as a teacher.
I love that.
So
when I think about research skills, creativity, problem solving, because you think about when you're doing research on something, you're having to present something. How many times do you have technology issues, or, you know, there's something that you read but you forgot to jot it down, and now you have to go back and find, and do I really want to include it? All of those things, that disappointments as well as failures as well as successes kids experience as they are completing those projects.
Yes.
So,
and what I find at middle school, and that's why I never expected myself to be teaching middle school in the U.S. because originally I was, introduced to always be teaching high schools. I've been teaching 10th and 11th grade and preparing students for the EOC, that's the end of course exam. But then, in my life, the Lord pivoted me to come to Georgia and to teach middle school. But I realized that experience for high school, it helped me now to bridge the gap.
Yes.
To instill a sense of ownership for my students and a sense of responsibility, and also to build their confidence. Because what people don't understand is that at the high school level, because they already made their friend group, and some of them have lost interest and feel like they're too cool for school, they're not so much engaged. But if you kind of help them out from that younger age to have that confidence, then they could carry that out through 8th grade to the 9th grade, because the 9th grade is a whole different ball game for them now, because they're just entering a new level, which is high school. But 7th grade, that's where they're straddling. They're trying to find themselves.
That's right.
So for me, I hold myself to say, okay, I am doing a service to help them to bridge that gap, to say, hey, you're here now. We're working to get you to the next level.
Yes.
Because it's important for you to understand all of this at this point in your life, to understand that, hey, it's okay if you fail. It's okay if you didn't get it right the first time. We're here now to help you build for you to become great when you move on to the next level.
Yes. And it counts at every level, but what you're doing is helping them and supporting them in the right ways before they get to the level where it truly counts.
Yes.
Especially in 9th grade,
Yes.
So allowing the children to mess it up. That's what we were talking about earlier. Allowing them to fail and try again. The best thing we can teach children is that it's not the end of the world if they fail something.
Yes.
And if they don't share their voices, if they don't share their work, if they don't share their talents, if they don't share their gifts, we won't know what they're capable of doing. To that same point, if we don't place them in position in an academically challenging classroom, like you said, with the rigor, then they will never have exposure to what is possible in their lives.
Definitely.
So many children have just passed through. And I was one of those kids where, as long as you were quiet and you did what you were supposed to do, you could fly under the radar. Well, I had my 11th grade teacher was the one who halted me. Yes. And it was using a book that we wrote, and anybody who had Mrs. Jones remember this, the grade, it counted like 7 times at Miller Middle School. Actually, she was at Central High School, but I met her when I was at Miller Middle School. And so I'm just telling you, I thought Miss Jones was so mean. She was so wrong.
Name is familiar.
Yes, but guess who I dedicated my dissertation to?
Her.
Mrs. Jones, the teacher looking back. So I always tell even our grandchildren, we would tell our children this, the teachers who you think they're just fire, they're the best, they're so much fun. Sometimes when you grow in wisdom and you look back, you're like, did they really care about me? You know what I mean? You just kind of wonder, well, that I did.
Right.
I don't know about anybody else, but I did. And I realized Mrs. Jones truly cared about my future.
Yes.
Which is why she challenged me.
Yes.
And supported me.
Yes.
So thank you for bringing that up about.
And that's very important because you have to push them and you have to let them understand that, hey, yes, it may seem hard, but it's for your benefit in the long run. Because I can recall with my students, I am big on a rubric.
Yes.
And I'm very big on also data. So everything I do with my instructions and in feedback and to literally work on my students to be better has to be data driven. And I remember one time they had to make a model. We were looking at environmental issues in Africa. They had to create a model, but then they had to have a specific rubric. The rubric was given. And they had to do an oral presentation based on their model. And I remember when I was grading and everything was finished, one of the students was like, but Miss Sims, what? And I said, check your rubric.
Yes.
Look at what I'm looking for. And then I also had a peer review because when each group had to present, the students that were seated had to also grade them.
Yes.
To give their own insight.
Yes.
And that's when we had the whole conversation. So, well, class, what do you think of group 1? What were some aha moments? What were some things for improvement? And they could also tell their peers. And I'm like, hey, don't talk to me. Hash it out with so-and-so. Because I want them also to know that, okay, it's not just Miss Sims that knows what's right or what's wrong. But your classmates also can hold you accountable. Say, hey, you missed that part.
That's right.
You know, and it's so powerful when kids can actually take accountability of their own learning.
Yes.
And actually also defend
yes.
their own learning.
Yes.
You know, so I think that's big, a big thing that we as educators also need to dive in. And I think that's the purpose that's birthed in me. I have this community that I have. It's called the iLead community, where I try to empower other educators, especially international teachers, like teachers who are coming from Jamaica and other countries.
Yes. Because
the transition to the U.S. it's different, and it can be challenging for different people, different experiences. So that community that I have, we talk about different strategies that works. Talk about how the transition is in terms of from first home back here versus here, and also like what kind of support is needed, because the curriculum in some subjects are definitely different.
Right.
For me, for social studies, it is, because in Jamaica we focus on more of a Caribbean history. So we're looking at Caribbean territories, but when for us in teaching in America, you're looking at U.S. history.
Yes.
World history, looking at different European territories. So it's a bit different.
Right.
So how do we as a community provide a support for a teacher who may not be so versed in making that transition to say, okay, this is what I need to focus on. So that's what the iLead community is all about.
I love that.
Yeah.
You didn't sit back and wait for someone else to build that community for you all.
It was actually my own struggle. When I came here to the U.S., it was totally new, like the first couple months. And I'm like, as I remember when I came in 2019, it was the 18th of September. And I remember I came in, the sub, she was right in the classroom, and I came in, she's like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, I'm the teacher for the class. She's like, okay. She went out the door. She went out the door. Whoa. And I'm like, what?
Where are the plans?
What am I doing? And on the spot, I'm like, you know what? girl, you're from Jamaica. They're going to ask you so many questions. Let's teach
Yes.
about your home country for the next 3 days until you meet with your department chair and get on track, you know. So that, for me, and then I had a strong support system, and I'm like, you know what? I was so blessed that year with my department chair. She retired, and that's how I actually was positioned to become the department chair.
Wow.
So I remember when I got the position, I called her and I'm like, are you coming back out of retirement? And she's like, yeah. I said, but they asked me to be the department chair. She's like, yeah, go ahead. You're prepared for it.
Oh, wow.
You're good.
Wow.
And I was like, this is I got big shoes to fill.
Right.
But I was so blessed under her guidance.
Yes.
To understand what was the expectation and to know that, okay, to have that conversation with my team and to be transparent and to build that communication piece. And I think that is so important as teachers with the principal, with the vice principal, with district personnel, and then also have that teacher-student relationship. That's also important. So coming from that experience, the idea came, say, hey, there's no platform that help teachers to navigate in different spaces, especially if you're coming from a different country to teach.
Yes.
And I want to push that platform, and that's why I said I lead community. Lead meaning L, we're talking about learning, E, engaging, A, adjusting, because not everything fits the same.
Yes.
Not every curriculum will look the same, and not every lesson plan will look the same for all classes.
Right.
And also developing as we go along to be our best selves.
I love it.
So that's how the I Lead community
I Lead. Oh, yes.
That was how it was birthed.
So what about waiver teachers who may be from the United States and they just need a community? Are they welcome in that community?
All teachers are welcome, actually,
Awesome.
from different countries, different spaces.
That's awesome.
As long as you're interested in us building a community, a safe space where we can actually have conversations of how to deal with students and learn. Because, I mean, you may teach a different way.
Yes.
I teach a different way. You may have a strategy that works. I may not know about that strategy.
Right.
So when we have that conversation and I learn about that strategy, hey, okay, I can put that in my toolbox.
That's right.
I may not use it right now, but I have it to reflect on and say, okay, let me try this one day and see if it works. It will not, but at least I have it.
That's right.
So, and I think that's what that was a highlight for me this summer. Bibb County, they had a dig in professional development where teachers were able to meet for 3 days. We had a wonderful conversation about different instructional strategies. So from Canva to DFIT to looking at Genially Speaking, so many different apps that I wasn't even aware about.
Right.
I mean, you know, your regular Canva and stuff like that, but DFIT, that's one of them that it's a platform that you use to actually modify instruction.
Wow.
And the standards are already there for whatever country, whatever state, that you are. So for Georgia, the standards are already there. So all you have to do as an educator just to click on the topic, the standards that you're teaching, the subject, and it will give you a whole sort of information and topic, and you can transition from an article to a graphic organizer, and it is so.
Y'all hear this?
Yes. So DFIT, hence the name. It's based on differentiation. Yes. So it's a big thing. So you can actually have a text, and I love it for social studies.
Yes.
Because it is. You know, social studies, you have to be reading a lot.
Yes.
And our students, they don't want to read.
They
don't want to read.
So I'm going to take that social studies book home and
how can
read.
I take a topic and modify it so it can actually meet my different learners, my gifted versus my low level babies who are struggling to read. So it definitely helps to modify that.
Wow.
It helps. So
and it's
teachers,
called DIFFIT, DIFFIT?
Yes. If you have not learned about DIFFIT, please look it up.
Yes.
It is a very easy resource to navigate, and I bet you it will be definitely helpful for you for this school year. And it's not just social studies. They have a variety of subjects that they actually have on their platform. So definitely get it.
That's awesome. Thank you. I was going to ask, does it span all of the content areas?
Yes.
So that's very helpful to know as well. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, DIFFIT. You taught me something new. And so I will definitely encourage, if you are not a part of iLead, then go on. What platform is it?
Instagram.
YouTube? Instagram.
It's Instagram.
Instagram, and follow.
Thank you.
iLead. So join that community.
Yes.
Sounds like you all are doing great work. I believe, and of course, obviously, we do a lot of professional development. Mm-hmm. One of the things we focus on is the Teaching Studio Lab, where teachers can share ideas, doing things like we're doing right now, sharing the ideas, because the more we know, like you said, the better equipped we are. We don't want to have to wait until we need a tool to go find that tool. We want to have all of these tools in our toolbox so that if we need to change that tire of instruction, we can change it, and we have the right tool to do so.
True. And to also pour into ourselves too.
Yes.
Because I feel the teachers have gone under a lot of backlash over the years.
Yes.
For whatever reason.
Yes.
We get the holidays off and it's not deserving.
Right.
Teachers have gone under a lot of backlash over the years.
Yes. Had to rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Facts.
Take at least one day. Come on now. It's not that serious, y'all. It's serious, but it's not that serious. Take at least one day. Leave. You didn't grade the papers the last time anyway.
No, don't take it home.
Don't take it home.
Do not take it home.
Go home and be with your family. So you have the energy in order to be able to come back and pour into other people, right? So we talk about, I'm big on this whole nationally, there's teacher burnout.
It's a real thing.
It's a
People
real
think
thing.
as if when we talk about burnout, it's like, y'all, it's nothing. We get overstimulated.
Yes.
Because you're hearing conversations. The students are coming at you.
That's
they're telling
right.
you about every single thing.
Especially,
they sure do. Especially if they're coming off on a weekend. Oh, Lord. Miss Sims, how was your weekend? And they're telling you what they did.
Yes.
Can you imagine when school opens? The whole summer conversations.
That's right.
And you're going to be hearing so many different stuff. Then they're talking about their own relationships.
Yes.
What happened at home.
Oh my gosh, yes.
What's happening in their community.
Yes.
Probably they're living in a volatile community. Somebody died.
That's right.
You have to also be stepping in as a parent.
Yes.
Some people may not want to hear it, but teachers are serving as parents.
That's right.
Right? We are counselors.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes the reality is in the schools, you may have one or two counselors. Right. Sometimes you can't get to them at that point. So you as a teacher in your classroom, little Johnny or little Susie, they have that problem. They have that meltdown. You can't just wait for the counselor to come in. You yourself have to step in. So you got 30 kids in one classroom, or to take it up a notch, you have 100 kids for the day that you're teaching.
Yes.
At different times, different emotions at different times.
Without a bathroom break, add that in there.
Right?
Or
and then you have to be pouring in to these students.
Yes.
Sometimes they don't want to hear what you're saying.
That's right.
And they're cussing you out too.
That's right.
How do you maintain that your best self to still say, okay, he's a kid. He don't know any better. His brain is still developing.
That's right.
He or she doesn't understand.
Frontal lobe problems.
Right? They're going to cuss you out today. And tomorrow, hey,
yes.
How are you?
Yes.
And you have to be the adult to be the one to say, hi, I'm good. You got to suck that all in.
That's right.
And you can't hold that grudge.
Can't hold a grudge.
You can't hold
that
grudge.
That's right.
Then you go home to your family, your husband, your wife, your kids.
That's right.
You got to decompress.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, I'm big, if you go on my page, you'll see a lot of mental health tips, because I also believe that that's very important for teachers.
Yes.
Sunday scaries are a real thing. The night before you got to go into that classroom.
That's right.
It's a real thing.
That's right.
I mean, I'm talking from experience, and everybody has a story with their teaching career. And I can tell you, it is a real thing.
Yes, it is.
Because especially if you are that type of educator who you take pride in what you do, it rests on your mind that you're not. And if you're a person like me who, I'm my worst critic. Like I'm always thinking about what else can I do?
Could have done better.
I could have done this better.
Yes. Yes.
No matter how many times I get evaluated, and I go back to my academic coach or my principal, and I'm like, okay, even when the lesson just ended, I'm like, shoot, I could have done that.
Yes.
So if you're that type of person, you're going to always want to do more, but you got to know when to draw that line.
That's right.
And to say, okay, I can do my work and get this done in this time frame, but then after that, it's all
done.
me.
That's right.
It's me. It's my family. It's just that zone, that bubble that I need for myself to be my best self so I can continue doing that job.
Yes.
Because if you don't, you're going to
burn out.
Yes. You're going to have an illness.
That's right.
And you will, point blank, you will die.
Right. That's right.
I've heard so many different stories, even back in Jamaica. I remember, I think it was 2021, there were so many teachers that were just falling dead.
Yes.
I had a headache. They went home. They didn't wake up. They fainted. Took them to the emergency room. So teachers, yes, you were teaching from the heart, but we also have to make sure that we are healthy and sound in mind and in spirit, because we are humans and we have to nurture our body to be our best self. Without us, then we don't have our families are going to be heartbroken, and they're going to get a sub to put in the classroom like that.
That's right.
So we got to take care of us before we can actually take care of them.
Yes.
You have to.
I'm so glad you said that. Taking care of you means you're taking care of other people. Yeah. And it can't be the reverse. It can't be let me go take care of them and then you're not taking care of self, right? Yeah. And I'm guilty myself.
Yeah.
I was sharing with the group today, like I said, I'm advocating, please put it down. Just put it down. Just stop. You know what I mean? Yeah. Stop.
It's hard at first.
It's very difficult.
But you have to have a system, and you have to just start making little boundaries.
Yes.
And then build on it. So then that's where you have that routine. That's a good habit, because, habits can be good and bad.
Right.
So
that's correct.
Actually creating that good habit of saying, okay, if I'm going to be staying after school, I'm going to stay after school only on a Tuesday.
That's right.
And then that's
for 1 hour.
For 1 hour. And then Tuesday is going to be your time when this is when I'm going to be grading.
That's
right.
So
I know every Tuesday I'm grading.
That's it.
And then on Fridays, instead of running home, I'm making my copies 1 hour.
That's right.
So Monday, I don't feel so discombobulated rushing in to the copy machine, because everybody is going to be at the copy machine.
That's right.
So little stuff like that goes a long way if we practice.
Yes.
Sunday night, you unwind. Try to have like a little routine where you do some self-care. Go to the park.
Yes.
I love the park. I do coloring. I have a coloring book, so that's how I decompress. But I mean, that's just my strategy that I've realized worked for me. So if you like to go to the gym, you go to the gym.
That's right.
You go swimming, play tennis, but you gotta carve out some time that is for you. That's something that you actually enjoy. This summer, I rediscovered reading.
Good.
I am an avid reader, but since I've been here, it's mostly history books. And then I was studying for my master's, so it was just theories and leadership and HR stuff.
All the fun stuff.
No.
I enjoy this.
And I said to my husband, I said, you know what? I need to get back into reading. And I joined the library.
Good.
And then I said, okay, And then I got my first book, started reading, and every 2 weeks. And now I'm taking like 4 books at a time now.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
Okay, I'm going through them. I'm like, yes, I have gotten back to myself. Yes. Where I know I'm reading for fun.
That's right.
So this summer I was able to just go through books that I just have a nice little cup of tea and read my novel.
Yes.
And I was at peace. But that was something that I did for me.
Yes.
I mean, I may not be able to do that when the school semester starts,
yes.
but I'm still going to try.
Right.
So I may not be able to read 4 books within a whole month. Mm-hmm. But I may just do 1.
That's right.
And then I'm going to dedicate to say, okay, 10 pages a day.
That's my thing. Listen, right. I had a professor tell us about the 10-page rule, and that's what I'll do. I'll go and sit at Barnes & Noble, somewhere like that. Yeah. Now, I like to buy books. I have more books than like most people who like to read, than I really need, right? But I'll go in there and I'll pull one. You know, I just buy it. If I like it, I buy it. But for the most part, I'll go to the library, Langford Library, or to Barnes & Noble, wherever we are, out of town. It doesn't matter. I like to visit those places and just read 10 pages, you know. I had someone ask me, you know, are you reading the whole book? Are you reading parts of the book? I said, it just depends, you know. Right. Some books I read the entire book. Yeah. But, you know, if you're an avid reader, it's kind of like a movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you already know what's going to happen. For the most part. I'm not trying to be like, once you've read certain things over time, you just kind of know, and
there's some books I'll go through quickly because once I get the gist of it, I'm like, okay. Now, okay. Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. So
and we need to tell children that because we act like they have to read. We advocate to read the entire book, but we just need you to read. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just read. Read the magazines. Read the signs, the street signs.
Just get off this for a minute.
That's right.
That's it. Just get off this. Just get off this for a minute. Like, for real. Let's get off it for a minute.
That's
it. Because you have to disconnect sometimes. Sometimes when you scroll, it can be toxic.
That's true.
And I'm not bashing anybody for being a content creator or influencer or something like that. But there's some things that are not positive on social media.
That's right.
Right? So, but then you are just scrolling along. And you're taking in all that energy.
Yes. Hours. I found myself as an adult going
and then sometimes you wonder why you feel like that.
That's right.
Because you're taking in all that negative stuff, the news, and you don't know what is factual from what is just like AI generated.
That's right.
So that's also fear that's being instilled in you. You saw a video that says, oh, something's going to happen or something happened. And when you really check it out, it didn't.
That's exactly right.
But in the moment, all that fear got into you. So sometimes you got to just disconnect, go fresh air, sit on a tree. I'm big on grounding.
Yes, good.
Get your feet out in the grass.
Yes.
In the dirt. Center yourself. Just be one with nature.
Yes.
I'm big on that. So it may not be for you, but I'm just giving you some tips.
I love the tips.
That I think.
I love the tips. We need to talk more about that grounding. I'm the person who's like, hey, I don't want my feet up. But
no.
I've heard, when you put your feet in that grass. Yeah. That there is something magical that happens. Not really magical, but there's something important that happens with your body to reset your body. Yes, absolutely.
Be one with nature.
Yes.
It's just something for me. It's just so amazing. I guess I'm an island girl. So I'm from Jamaica. So the beach, the trees, like that's just amazing to me. That brings me joy.
Yes.
So first when I moved here, and the first place I went to was Emerson Park.
Yes.
And Emerson Park literally is like, every weekend. And then I had a little bucket list for this summer. I'm like, I'm going to try to visit little parks in Georgia. So I went to High State Falls Park.
Yes, High Falls. Yes.
High Falls. Amazing.
Yes.
Literally. And then I want to go to Providence Canyon. I literally want to do like all the different hike trails and stuff like that as far as I can go. It just gives me peace.
Yes.
It's just refreshing because you're always in the classroom.
Yes.
5 days for the week. 8 hours.
Mainly talking to children.
I
will never forget when I was a young teacher, my brother would say, there's something different about teachers. You can tell educators. Like, it's something about you guys. There's an air about you. Sure. And when I submit, it's the fact that many of us don't get an opportunity to talk to grown people, adults, unless we're at home. Right. Or out, you know what I mean? Most of our time is spent talking to children.
The lunch time, even though it's very short, would be that little moment where you can say, okay, I'm going to run to the restroom, and you may see a little teacher bestie or your teacher friend, and just have a little conversation. Hey, how are you? You know, have a little conversation at the lunch table, still watching over to check on little Johnny and little Susie because they're still in the cafeteria. You got to make sure because they're slick now.
That's right.
They're very slick.
That's right.
So you get that little time to unwind for that little minute with an adult before you go back in to teach again. So, but yeah.
That's why that protected time for planning as well as lunchtime, it really needs to be protected. I want to go back to something, circle back to the being off over the summer and off on holidays and all of that. I know for a fact, I still work in education. I'm not in the classroom now, but still work in education. That's my passion. That's my love. That's what I'm called to. You never really get a rest because your mind is constantly going. You're constantly thinking about, you know, the students. In my case, the leaders, the teachers that I serve. And I still, my daughter and I are still those consultants. We teach students too. So it's not just us talking to adults, you know, that kind of thing, because we don't want to design something for people that we don't serve. You know what I mean? Like it
wouldn't make sense.
It would not make sense. Like a lot of the policies, you know, that kind of thing. They don't make sense if they do not include the voice of children. Not a hypothetical voice.
But an actual student voice.
An actual student voice. And so, that said, we're constantly thinking about what can be done. During the breaks, we're doing intercession. We're doing camps for children. We started out, you know, unpaid, all of that, because there were so many children that were out here, didn't have anything to do, right? And of course, I was over here doing things with my grandchildren, which I love. I will always commit. That's what God has called me to, my family, right? But then there were other children that we could reach out to. If it's nothing but serving them 2 or 3 days, to be able to share in their advancement as well. And there's no pressure. One of the things the kids consistently say, there's none of that pressure that they have in school. And I just wish, if I had that magic wand, you know, we have to grade. I clearly understand that. We have to take tests. But if there were those moments where children could just enjoy the journey of learning. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely know what you're saying, and I definitely agree. And that's also why right now I'm a big believer in God's purpose. Right now, transitioning from high school to teaching 7th grade, it's totally different. High school rigor is way serious because you're testing high school students, EOC. That's a big deal. When I was department chair, data meetings every week, checking the pre-test, the mock EOC testing, looking at the standards. Oh, the students did poor on this unit. What can we do? We're gonna do a drill, a study.
That's right, reteach.
And all reteaching and all that stuff. But now at 7th grade, because it doesn't have a testing component, I'm also able to add a little creativity. But I still also hold them accountable because I always keep telling them, and if they were here, they would say the same thing. You always telling us about 8th grade. I'm like, yes, because it's a big deal.
That's right.
So it's not that I want you to not take 7th grade seriously, but I try also to have a balance. So I'm being hard on you, and they know because I set the tone straight up in terms of instruction and what I expect for you to give me as the end product. But I also have time where they're able to shift. Where we have that SEL component, where I want to know them as a person.
Yes.
Where I want us to have meaningful conversations, where I want them to understand themselves, where I want them to talk about what they like to do, where they want to be when they grow up, you know, the importance of handling conflict. How do they handle conflict?
Yes.
Right? Self-esteem. What do they think about themselves? So I always try to incorporate that SEL component, that social emotional learning piece, because they need that.
That's right.
I also carve out time for them to actually go outside. So especially
in middle school.
Yes.
Thank you.
Like
the children.
I remember the last. And and people might ask how or when. You gotta look at your schedule. You gotta look at your curriculum. So you know the best time we did it was when testing was over. So you know that last 2 weeks of school, those last 2 weeks of school, that's the best time. Don't let them just sit idle.
That's right.
And just put on a movie. And if you're putting on a movie, I'm not knocking you not putting put movies on right now. Because people in the comments will come for me. I'm not knocking you to not use a movie or to use movies, but make sure it is tailored to something that is relevant.
Yes.
So think about something that is showing teamwork.
Exactly.
Self-esteem. Akilah and the Bee.
Yes.
The spelling champion.
That's
how
right.
she was at first she didn't want to be a part of it. She experienced challenges, but then she overcame, and right, something that has a story.
Yes.
That will give them inspiration. That will make it relevant to encourage them to feel a little bit better, or for a little aha moment to spark in them to say, hey, okay, that person did it.
That's right.
I can do it.
That's right.
So, not knocking a movie, just make sure that it's relevant, because at the end of the day, principals are being held accountable, and they hold us accountable.
That's right.
So, yes, that's that 2 week where the school is done. We get it. I get it. But just to make sure that you are checking your boxes and making sure that we're still working in line with our contract and what our duties are. Have a social emotional piece that's meaningful.
Yes.
So if your supervisor should come in and see you, well, okay, you can justify. You know, you can justify. Like, I have my kids use jigsaw puzzles.
Yes.
But they're social studies based.
Yes.
So I have a jigsaw puzzle with China, Africa, Asia, because that's what I'm teaching.
That's right.
So we can pull up jigsaw puzzle for different countries because we're looking at different. And then from that, you have writing prompts.
Right. That's
you
right.
know, so that's an idea. Journal writing.
Yes.
So you can have a whole movie and give a journal prompt. Imagine, and
pausing that movie in between and having conversations. That's the other part. You know, a lot of times our kids are sitting in there and they never get a pause to have a conversation about what they noticed, what they saw, what they questioned.
See, you know? Think, wonder.
That's exactly right.
What do you see?
That's exactly right.
What are you thinking? What do you wonder?
That's right.
Right? Tell me 3 takeaways from the movie. Imagine you living in that time. Yeah.
Yes.
Have them think beyond that. Put themselves in the character.
That's right.
Have them critique.
Yes.
Or give their point of view.
One of my favorite things when I was teaching gifted is to pause, like to mute the volume and just have the children look at the nonverbals.
Yes.
You know? Having them look at that. What kind of character is this person? And character traits is all over the ELA. And I was sharing with the group today, many of times our kids don't do well on those questions. Why? Because they don't know their own feelings. They don't know their own character traits. And so we're asking them to observe the character traits of a character in a story.
Right.
Like, what? They've never had that.
With history, I use the GRAPE method. So they look at the geography piece.
Yes.
The religion, the economy, the achievements, the political background, and the society. So they're always looking at that. So if they see a movie, okay, what is it, the geography features. Where is this story or this movie based in?
That's so good, y'all.
So they look at the economy. Yeah, they look at the economy. They look at the political structure, and that adds to government. What's the system of government like? What's the society like? How do they live? So you can incorporate a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But you just have to be intentional.
That's right.
And making sure that it's still in alignment with what you're teaching.
That instructional planning component,
so you gotta justify. And people may say, well, where do you get the time? But you just gotta make time.
Yes. Utilize the time that we have wisely.
Not even make time, as in I'm not saying that you need to do it on Saturdays and Sundays.
Right.
But be intentional throughout that work week.
Yes.
So if you have one of my friends, she uses a timer. So when she does her lesson plans or she has a timer.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay, 90-minute timer.
That's right.
And then she be working like a bee.
That's right.
During that time. So if you have to like set a timer, you do that. But you have to be intentional to not overwork yourself.
That's right.
On paper, you're working Monday to Friday between 8 and 3 or 8 and 4, whatever your contracted hours are, right? You don't get paid overtime.
Right.
Right? But the unwritten guidelines is that we do
work every day, all day.
Every day, all day.
In your sleep.
So how can you actually fix that?
Right.
And leave time for you on the weekends and to be your best self. You got to be intentional.
We must. And I want to say this because I share this with schools and leadership teams. For those people who, like myself, I started teaching in 1999. Those who started teaching way before that, you know, we glorified the days when we would take home 9 bags and a cart.
Yes.
We need to stop, y'all. Let's stop glorifying that. We were miserable then. Let's just be honest. Now the testing is on a whole nother level.
Right.
And of course we have technology, because people think that just because we have technology, it's like a cell phone. People think that if you text them, if someone texts me, they think I should be answering while I'm sitting here at this table.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just how society is. So then you layer on planning 24/7.
Or they send an email at 10 o'clock at night.
Exactly.
Or 1 o'clock in the morning.
Did you get my email?
And
I didn't.
they expected that you should see that email at 1 o'clock in the morning. No, we're sleeping.
That's right.
Don't do that.
Don't do it.
It's not nice.
Right.
It's not.
That's right. That's not nice. That's not nice.
So
God bless you.
And also, I think even though there's a different group of teachers.
Yes.
And let me tell you, millennial teachers are not your teachers that will be doing all of that stuff.
And they're not lazy.
They're not lazy.
People say,
but we're not glorified worker bees.
That's right.
No.
That's right. I remember.
We want the balance.
That's right. I remember I raised millennials. And so it's very interesting. I love listening to people. They're like, oh, they're lazy. They'll quit this. It's not that. What you all have done, you said enough is enough.
Yeah.
I remember my children, I'll never forget this. It hurt my feelings. And I'll leave her nameless. But one of my girls said to me, Mama, I don't admire your work ethic. I'm like, my work ethic? It's stellar. You know what I'm saying?
Drop the mic.
She's like, no, I'm sorry, because you're killing yourself. Like, you're sick. And so just stop it. There is enough time. And what she was basically saying is, stop taking all your time from us. You know, so much of your time from us. Give us some time too, because I'm telling you, teachers' minds are constantly going. And it's the teachers who have the conviction. So there's a difference between, I believe, between the commitment and conviction. Folks with the conviction, like yourself, we were talking, you're constantly thinking of ways to grow,
turn it off.
and you have to turn that thing off. And that's what her comment did for me. It hurt my heart.
True. And I like that point. Conviction versus the committed teacher. I'm gonna literally put some more thought into that when I go home. But for real, I can say that in my earlier years I was convicted. but now I'm committed.
Yes.
So, and that's the difference, because I remember earlier on getting a teacher, you know, you're fresh out of college.
Yes.
You want to be your best self. You want to make sure that you hit all the high points and be in everybody's good graces.
Yes.
So you do this, you do that. You say yes, you say yes, you say yes, and you take on all this work.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're tired.
That's right.
You don't want to go nowhere on your breaks because you're so burnt out. You're so tired. You don't even want to be around people.
Anybody.
You don't want to socialize.
That's so
You just want to be on the couch with your covers, probably watch a movie, eat some food, and that's it.
That's it.
But when you're committed, you're like, yes, I do my job.
That's right.
And I'm committed to my students being their best self, but also I want to be the best wife.
That's right.
I want to be the best friend.
Yes.
I want to be the best auntie, you know?
That's it.
So I want to have both.
Yes.
And I think
It's
other
both
millennials
and,
can
not
also
one or the
agree
other.
with me that we want both. We
Yes.
want the successful career,
Yes.
but we also want to build that successful life. I remember I said it to my friend yesterday, Caprice. I said it to her yesterday. I said, remember when we sat before summer break, how we were planning our summer? Because we were very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And we were syncing calendars to say, okay, so what are we going to do on the 31st
Yes.
or the 4th of July? And we literally were syncing each other's our calendars together to see, okay, when we're going to link up and stuff like that. And we had a river bash on Monday. That was like the last hurrah.
Love that.
Closing out the summer to say, hey, you know, it was a meeting we with other teachers from different spaces, and we had food, grilling, you know, we were in the water and just having conversations and just talking.
Yes.
And we were like, you know, God did a good thing, because we never expected how the summer was going to go, but
Yes.
He did it for us.
Yes.
Where we were able to connect, make some good memories, and just have fun.
Yes.
Without the pressure of thinking about school and all of this stuff. And I mean, yeah, we thought about it because we had to have conversations to say, okay, we had to have a plan in place, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
That's right.
Right? So it's not like we didn't have a plan.
Correct. That's not what we're saying.
That's not what we're saying.
We're not saying that.
Because I can tell you, before I went on break, I had my plan
That's
for
right.
the new school year.
Upcoming year. That's
what
right.
my procedure is going to look like, what my goals and my school, my students, what the expectations and all of that plan, how my room is going to be, and all that. I had all of that. And I can attest that she had it too, right? So we had that plan in place. But you still have to have time.
That's right.
So now tomorrow we have our convocation. I'm not like, no.
Right.
Because I had that time
That's right.
to be with my family, be with my friends, have some good memories. Reality hits in now. Yeah, I got to go back to work.
Right.
But it's something I just got to do.
That's right.
I have to do it. So that's where the balance is. But if I didn't have that time for myself, then maybe I would be grumpy.
Begrudging, yes. Going back.
Grumpy and demotivated and don't want to go anywhere, because for the whole year I'm just stressed out.
That's right.
So that's why it's important to rest,
Yes.
to recuperate, to rejuvenate, to just have that you time, because it helps.
Yes.
So when work comes back, the pressure is not so much. It's like, it's not something that I gotta do. It's more of, okay, all
I'm
right.
excited about
Let's
going
go.
back to see my friends. My
Let's see
colleagues.
what's gonna happen this
That's right.
school year.
That's right.
You know, so it's more of a positive mindset and a growth mindset with an expectant heart to say, okay, this school year is gonna go good.
Yes.
You know, and that's my energy that I'm on
Yes.
right now. I've reflected, and the transition from South Carolina to Georgia was not perfect, but I had some good times during my classes, teaching my students. I had aha moments. I had moments where it didn't work so well, but I took the notes
Yes.
and I reflected, and I know now, okay, this is what I want to do to correct that.
Yeah.
You know, speaking with my academic coach, you know, my peers, you know, just having conversations, say, hey, okay, I need to work on this. And I can also share it. Like, one of my things that I know that I want to be intentional about is structure.
Here's that goal setting.
Right?
She wants to be intentional about structure.
So-
what specific
So
action steps do you have in place for that?
So being consistent.
Good.
Like literally, day one, letting them know, hey, this is how it's gonna go. This is how it's gonna be, and setting that from day one, letting them know clear expectations, and also the consequences if it's not followed.
And that's key. Let's talk about that part really quickly. We have maybe 2 more minutes, but let's talk about those consequences. And it's not a bad thing. Consequences are good things too, right? Whatever you say the consequence is, make sure it's logical, right?
Right.
Whatever the consequence is, hold to that, because when we deviate from that consequence, it's just like a little kid, a baby. Once they figure out that there's a loophole, they're going to play on it, right?
And they're very slick.
They're very
slick.
Slick as quick, as my mama would say.
Yeah. So I developed that more later on in the year, because as I said, the transition from high school to middle school is way different, because high school, they're older.
Right.
So the expectation, they just give them the work. They come in, give them the work. But then with middle schoolers, they're all over the place.
Right.
So you got to be very firm to say, hey, you need to sit. we have to sit.
Right.
And the reason why we need to be staying in our seats.
Right.
So you got to let them know why.
Yes.
Because they're not just go sit. It's not going to work.
Frontal lobe, baby. Frontal lobe.
It's not going to work. So, I learned structure. My structure was better later down, like about probably September, October. That's when my students really knew, hey, Ms. Gordon Sims ain't she's not playing.
So the good thing about it, you can go in with that very thing that you were doing near the end of the school year and implement it at the very, very beginning. And so, listening audience, I hope you've gleaned, grapes and joining, I lead, DFIT, some things she's dropped. Talked about building confidence for our students, student presentations, choice boards, inquiry. That's huge. I wish we'll have to come back, dive in deeper. The length of time, make sure you're transparent. Yeah. That's so critical with building relationships with both students, parents, teachers, stakeholders, your colleagues, all of that. Rigor, alignment to the standards, which is ultra important. That's most important, because if it's not aligned to the standards, we're just doing something that's cute and fun, guess what? The kids are going to fail, all right? And so it's not unfair to children to fail because they spent a whole day, 180 days engaged in things that were not aligned, okay? That's unfair to children. That record goes with them. And so building engagement, not over entertainment, that was one of you were talking about the engagement, and I just added that part about not entertainment. They're not looking for that. And the last thing, the peer conversations, using the rubric, using the data to drive everything that you do. It really made me think about WICOR from AVID.
Yes.
With the writing.
I'm a big AVID teacher.
Okay, I could tell, because everything you talked about fell into that category with the writing. Inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. Yes. And so everything you talked about, it was encapsulated in that WICOR. Yes. I am too. I love all things AVID. It's proven. It's evidence-based.
It is.
So if you can look up AVID and just choose some of those strategies to use as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kudos to Mrs. Irby from C.A. Johnson. That's my school that I taught in South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Big on AVID.
Awesome.
Big up to the principal, Dr. Cole, as well. Definitely.
Awesome.
AVID. You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
You can't.
You just cannot.
Marking the text, identifying vocabulary words, main points. Definitely.
Points of confusion for tutoring.
Yes.
I tell them to use that in their collaborative planning. It's for students with tutoring, but use that. Don't let people keep griping and complaining.
Yeah.
Ask them to bring their point of confusion, okay?
Yeah, Cornell note-taking.
Cornell note-taking, yes. Graphic supports, interactive supports, sensory supports for those ESL students.
Yes.
So what's one last word, if you had 5 to 7 seconds to encourage the hearts of your colleagues, for teachers, leaders, students, parents, whoever you choose to, what would you say?
So, to my teachers, I want to wish you a wonderful school year that's coming up. but also know that it's okay if your classroom is not going to be the most glamorous. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to not get it right the first time. Give yourself grace and know that you are doing an amazing job. Just surround yourself with other teachers that have the same vision.
Yes.
As you. We are tasked with the opportunity to mold minds and to change lives, but we're also tasked with taking care of ourselves first.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here.
And I had
you
a
have
wonderful
dropped.
time.
Thank you. You have dropped so many gems. We want you to go back and share this with other teachers, educators, leaders and teachers, instructional coaches. Share this information with them, and we hope you will join us for our next episode of Impact Educators and the Vision Challenge podcast. Thank you so much, and you have an amazing year.
You too.
Bye-bye, everyone.